At 10, we are taking a closer look at the search for victims from the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. A research team analyzing burial sites at the Oaklawn Cemetery saying they're finding some success. 2 News Oklahoma's Katie KJRH shares more about where the investigation stands and what's next.
Researchers found 34 burials last June at Oaklawn Cemetery and exhumed remains of 19 individuals. Their biggest finding, one man who died from multiple gunshot wounds. While they can't say for sure yet if he died during the race massacre, it does give them hope in their search.
We're making such progress. I'm just very pleased.
The search continues for missing victims of the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. Research teams sharing their latest findings this week from Oaklawn Cemetery. They're analyzing remains from 14 adults, 8 men and 6 women, exhumed from Section 20, the African-American section of Potter's Field at the cemetery, where they found artifacts such as the base of a glass bottle that dates back to 1921. One burial site, number 27, showed a man in his early 20s, died from multiple gunshot wounds. They still don't know if that man died during the massacre, but these findings are a step in the right direction in the investigation.
The fact that we recovered burial 27 and then also recovered the bullets that led to his demise and were fired, unfortunately, by somebody who brought about his death. Those to me were also extremely compelling.
Forensic anthropologist Dr. Phoebe Stubblefield says they're primarily looking for plain coffins that contain men. This is based off newspaper accounts and death certificates from the race massacre detailing 18 black men who were buried at Oaklawn. However, during an update Tuesday evening, members of the Graves Public Oversight Committee questioned why they aren't also looking at exhuming more women and children in the future.
Could there be women and children victims buried there? Yes. Do we know? Do we have any evidence? No. Do we have evidence of any burials there? Yes. So in that context, I'm focusing on those because the males are conclusive evidence of the race massacre and those victims being buried there.
DNA samples from the 14 are now being sent to a forensics lab in Salt Lake City, Utah. Once there, they'll work to extract DNA, which could be a difficult task. Dr. Stubblefield says these are challenging samples after being buried for decades in a wet environment. But those samples, along with DNA from living relatives, are the key to getting answers, which will take a lot of research.
It is a process of identifying families through databases that are accessible, DNA databases that are accessible. And then, even then, those matches will be 3rd or 4th cousin level matches, most likely.
The research team wants to excavate more of Oaklawn Cemetery as well as survey other areas, but they're still in the early planning and budgeting stages and are not sure how soon that will get underway. Katie KJRH, 2 News Oklahoma.